In Lagos, once you just tell someone come over to mine, or I'm thinking maybe we can have like a cook in and just chill in. Already she's thinking, this one wants to sleep with me.
It won't do.
He wants to shift my pants.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another beautiful episode of Menisms. I am Michael Scenario.
And I'm Murray Koya.
And we welcome you to another episode of Menisms. How are you doing, my G?
Always good.
Always good. So, before we even jump into the topic, always thank you again for subscribing to the Maddox channels. Thank you for viewing Menisms. Thank you for the new followers. Thank you guys for being interactive. Thank you. We appreciate you guys. And make sure you follow us on all socials possible. And yeah, I'm going to let you get into the question, my brother, before we start.
So, you guys already know we're going to be answering one or two questions from our YouTube comments. So I'll just jump right in. There's one that says, what's your take on being toxic to a person you're actually interested in, with the mentality that they'll like you more if you act mean or uninterested in them, when you know you love them?
You're going through a personal situation, my brother, whoever wrote that question, but we will try and help you here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you should be with somebody that makes you have to get mean to them, if that makes sense. Like, I don't, as I said, I'm not trying to be personal in this in terms of my own view, but even just thinking about it, why would you want to be with somebody that makes you act mean or makes you want to be somebody or not? You know, that's what we talked about in our last episode about self-discovery.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, the fact that you have to be toxic for them to like you, think about that already. Like, sometimes as men, I did it. By the way, guys,
I guess that's
we
your
said that
trademark.
we're going to work on what, I know some of you viewers have noticed it saying, as a man, we're working on it. So, one of the things, you as a person should not have to change yourself for somebody else.
Yeah.
You should want to attract somebody that makes you feel like you can be your full self completely. And like I said, if you being toxic, if you being mean is the way for you to attract them, that's something you need to probably question within yourself. Like, why do I have to act this way to get that person? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, I agree with that. And I think my answer was going to be very similar to that. Like, if you have to. So, I'm saying this because I think women do this a lot, men do this a lot, right? We have this thing where, you know, because it seems too easy to be coming to me like this,
Yeah.
I want them to put in some
Like
work.
a defense.
Yeah,
Like
so
a
it's more like
defense.
if you know how they say it now, like if you want it, you're gonna put in effort. It's now really like a thing. Like, you know, I want to see your effort. I want to see that you really want this, right? Now, in some cases, that ends up pushing the person away. Like me, that will push me away. Like if you're doing, let me play you hard to get, I will be hard to get. Like you will end up being too hard to get and I'll just walk away. You know, so like, and it's not necessarily because I don't want to put in the work, but I can actually evidently see that you're intentionally being mean just so that, you know, you're more attractive to me for some reason. And it doesn't really work for me like that. And I think, just like myself, anyone who's having that kind of problem, all they need to do is just really reevaluate the kind of people they are attracted to, you know. So, I think one of our topics in the future is going to be about red flags. And that's one thing that's already been pointed out to you. If someone has to make you be mean to the person, just so, you know, you can, you know, it's just like being a bad boy. You know, you want to be a bad boy. You want to not reply messages quickly so that the person feels like, you know, they have to like, wait till you're ready to reply. Meanwhile, you're there, you're holding your phone, you're like, okay, I really want to tell her. In fact, you've thought about 2 million replies. I'm like, should I say it like this? Should I go it this way? But you're trying to be like, nah, you know what? I'm going to make it look like I'm not desperate. Come on.
And the funny thing is, you're saying that women don't realize you give the men power when you allow us to act like that. Because I went through that stage before where, like, in my early 20s, I knew there were some girls that, imagine, like, I still don't understand when women say this sometimes, but, like, he's too nice.
Yes.
Now, I understand, you know, because I started working on this thing with perspective, where I understand their perspective for some people, whereby he's too nice in terms of he's way too open or friendly with every single woman he's around.
Yes.
There's that too nice. But then there's some women that actually define that too nice in terms of being a friendly person. It's like, no, I want him only friendly to me. Are you sick? Like,
not even,
like that. Sorry, but it's like, think about what you're saying. It's like, oh, he has to be nice to me only. It's like, do you not want somebody that those around you feel comfortable and all that. Like, it's somebody that, okay, this is somebody I can bring around my family. Okay, they're only nice to you. Supposing they're mean to your friends now. Supposing they're mean to your family. Things like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you should want somebody that you should be proud to look at, be like, yo, this is the person that is that guy outside. You get what I'm saying? Everybody, to each their own, no. It's not by force.
Yeah,
I feel like what makes you happy makes you happy. But I just never understood that kind of like thing. Like, some women will want us even meaner. So they can now be like, they have us.
You know the thing? So even the nice thing you said, most women would even say, I've met women who would say, he's too nice, he's so cringe. And I'm here, the listener. I'm just thinking, I'm like that as well. So you're telling me I'm cringe? So I would then ask, I wouldn't even talk about it. I'll just then ask, like, okay, so, like, he's cringe because he's trying to make sure you get work on time. He's trying to make sure, you don't have to pay for Uber if you don't need to. And not because he has the money to, but it's the gesture. The way he would do it is like, you know what, now I think I should order you like a scheduled trip every morning so you can go to work.
Wait, time out. This is what you're calling as kindness? Because I don't think no woman is complaining about that.
Bruh, I have seen, this is me talking about people. So, and I got to understand why. They're always afraid they cannot reciprocate. So it's like, okay, this guy literally does everything for me. He does this for me. He does this for me. I wake up in the morning. He's already packed my lunch for work. He's already, now, when they tell you he's too nice, I've had people like avoid me because they tell me, oh, I'm too nice. They can't, it's too much for them. I could never really understand what they meant by is too much for them, right? But my gestures were around this. Like, it was more like, okay, you know what? I'll make sure I've already run a bath for you before you get back home so they can blah, blah, blah. Before you get to work, I've made you some lunch. So the stuff you would be stressed to do, I've done everything. And it's more, I feel like sometimes it's like he's too good to be true. And I'm just thinking, what do you mean? Like,
okay, these are marketer people. You're saying. I see what you're doing. Yes, okay.
So I guess to basically just like summarize on that, if you have to change to be attractive to someone, you should not be attractive.
But you just said something now. See, let me ask you a question now, because then this might be it's you that knows yourself.
Yeah.
But you saying that now, that means you were you not entertaining women then that, like you said, not like you fully for you, in terms of if you're really with somebody. We've all been through that stage where we've been with women that maybe we were the nice one between us, that we were doing more for them than they did for us. So it's like those actions you said now. Do you feel like those women, you like those women more than they liked you?
Bro, if I'm going to give
because if she likes you, because to me, any woman I know, if she really likes a guy and they're doing those actions you said, she's not complaining. Like, because there's not a lot of women that are getting that treatment. So that means were you going for women that you know you like more than them? If I'm going to talk from my
personal experience, this is even someone that... So when you start dating someone and you're dating the person because... Sorry, they're dating you because of how nice you are to them. You kind of know. They will tell you most times, like, okay, you know what, I really like when you do this, like when you do that. So you kind of know the strong points. You know the kind of things that made you win the woman, right? So, and at that point, I knew, okay, it was the nice gestures. But then, maybe like a year to 2 years into our relationship, then I'm seeing her wanting more bad boy vibes, And I'm not giving her, I'm just the nice guy, the nice gentle, just, okay, I don't really do much. Like, yeah, live your life, I'm not going to disturb you, In fact, it's almost like I can't disturb you because like it's not like I have better to offer you, so please just, So, in like the second year, it would then turn to, she only wants bad boy. At that point, I'm telling you, I'm influenced. This is me talking about actual experience here. I'm influenced at that point, and I want to be a bad boy so bad. Like, to the point where I want her to see that other women, are giving me attention. So maybe sometimes I would leave my phone unlocked, but make sure one message is open so she can see me calling someone else.
I'll be not going to call you toxic now for saying this.
So again, I've experienced that, right? So, of course, I'm talking when I was as young as 19, 18, right? And I would want to be that bad boy. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, no, I'm going out to the club with my guys. I'm not going nowhere, bro. But I needed her feeling like that's who I was so that I could again be attractive to her, because I could feel that everyone else that she was finding attractive were people within these characteristics, right? So I would then want to be that same bad boy, that same toxic guy, like the question says, where I want to be this unreachable person to her. then she would now really be forced to want to reach me, right? That's how I felt. It was a horrible decision. I mean, experience has taught me that now, because in the end, I shouldn't even have been with the person in the first place. Like that, the fact that I have to change to be a different person is toxicity on its own, right? So I just learned from that you know what, no. So I think that then still brings back to the answer of if you're with someone who is making you feel like you need to be a different person just so you can be attracted to them, you shouldn't even be with the person in the first place. So yeah.
There we go. So he's answered your question. I hope that helps you out, my brother. But second question, inviting a girl to your house on a first date is outright/normal. Now, your perspective this is going to be, there's no right answer to this because everybody has their own opinion. So we can only say our opinions and you take the perspective from there. For me, it depends. Like, let's not lie. We're not going to lie to ourselves like that's not happened. Like, I don't know why everybody acts like, am I going to go to the house of first? You've done it. If you've not done it, fair, that is you. But more times than not, people have done it. You get what I'm saying? It all depends on how comfortable you are as a person. There are times that, yes, I've had women come over like, this is our first time and linking. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not going to lie and be naive saying it can't happen. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, that's not going to be my intention. Now, if it was really my intention, there's a communication, that I said, depending on you, that you're going to have with the woman to know, like, yo, that first time is like, this might happen. You get what I'm saying? It's how you communicate, how comfortable you are. So for me, I have no issue. Most times, I don't mind going out because even nowadays, I'm not letting you in my house. I don't let anybody in my house. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like, for me to let you in my house, there's a certain level of comfortability I need to have now at this age. Younger me, I didn't give a damn. Like, first link, yo, you want to pull up? Like, you pull to my house. Why? Because I'm in uni. It's not my house. I'm paying rent. So in that case, I feel fine. By next year, I'm out. You get what I'm saying? But now, at this age and all that, it's like, you have to really be careful who you let in your space. Mm-hmm. So it's like that first date now sort of helps me clear the air, clear the barrier, like, yeah, let's see how this person really is. Because the fact that I'm already going on a date with you, I don't like going on dates like that anymore. Right now, not saying I don't like dating going out, but it's like because of my lifestyle and my schedule, even for me to plan a date now, it's like I'm always on the go. So most times it's like, yo, I'll call a friend like, yo, you want to meet me here? You want to meet me here? But a proper date is like, it helps me just say, okay, this person is this. So now I don't know if I want to bring you over. You get what I'm saying? So it's a personal choice to me. What do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, I would agree. However, I also have to be careful of the part of the world we're in, right? So, people are less, concerned about the fact that you're choosing to ask them to come over to yours on a first date outside the country, right? In fact, more than anything, it's more of a chill vibe where, like, you know what, I'll bring some wine, bring some pizza, bring some this, I'll come over. No one's actually tying anything to you coming over to theirs, right? As opposed to in Lagos,
I won't say they don't, but it's not as thought out.
Yeah, so in Lagos, once you just tell someone come over to mine, or I'm thinking maybe we can have like a cook in and just chill in. Already she's thinking, this one wants to sleep with me.
It won't do.
He wants to shift my pants, So and because there's already that stereotype and stigma on that, right? Even when you know the vibes, it could even be from how you guys talk. You can just kind of tell. This is not a go to the restaurant type of vibe that I have with this person. This is we chill in, have some nice discussions, watch a few movies, and we just chill. And then when it's time, she goes back to hers, and we do.
But let's not lie to ourselves now. Like they say, I don't want to sound like saints. I want to lie and say I'm a saint. Mm-hmm. Let's not lie. You inviting her over or her coming over like that, you already know that opens the door of possibly this can happen. Because of course, for her to come over, you have to be attracted to her in a certain way. Yeah. All I said, it comes out to the point that when she's there now is your limits. Do you know? Because I've had situations before where it's like she's come over and all that. Okay, we've kissed, but obviously from that kissing, it's like, okay, there's a limit that said like, okay, I am not doing that. It's like perfectly fine. It's like, I've had that situation. It's like, I don't want to do. That's perfectly fine. No, like, I'm cool with it. You want to kiss? Boom. If you don't want to kiss again, fine. Even if we stick to kissing, boom. Yeah. And stick to that.
Yeah. So I think that then, okay, so I mean, just because where I was really getting out of the point was to answer the person's question, we can answer based on how people in Nigeria or in Lagos see it, right? Where it's like, don't do it. That's going to be my own suggestion. Like, don't invite someone out to your house on a first date, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think because there's a wider impression of what that, comes off as, like you just said, where it's like you already kind of know it opens doors to that, then as a first date, especially now because there's more awareness on, consent and people really giving permissions for you to do whatever, you might be intending to do, just avoid the situation. So, so there's no case where it seems like you were trying to cajole someone, meanwhile you weren't really, and it gets really messy. Be in public on the first date, though, right? I mean, subsequent dates, then you guys get more comfortable. You can then decide.
So let me ask you a question.
But I think first date you shouldn't.
No, I agree. Let me ask you a perspective then. So do you not feel like communication plays a big part, or it should even play a big part? Because even for dates now, on these first dates, I feel like a lot of people don't actually communicate well enough with the opposite sex in terms of getting to know them, what they like, and all that. You build that comfortability, because even for what you just said now, I agree. In terms of, so that awkwardness and all doesn't play a factor, then don't do it.
Exactly.
But then, if you build a comfortability now for it,
then of course
with each other, then
you
don't feel like you can still do it.
Yeah, then at that point, like you then know, okay, you guys can even have the conversation, like you said, right? So it's like, you know what? Oh, I'm thinking we should come over. Like it's just more the vibes we want, right? So so I think that answers that question. So
we'll jump into our topic now.
Yeah, so I think we're ready to jump right into today's topic, and
introduce it.
Today we're talking about consent.
Kiki. And this is a very nice topic to have, because
shaking some tables.
It's not even, it shouldn't even shake tables, to be honest, because it shouldn't, because it's something that a lot of people feel like men should know or understand. But what they need to understand is that a lot of men were not taught about consent. I'm not saying it's an excuse. They're not taught that.
It's just facts.
It's not even facts. The conversation's not even had. Yeah. Because really and truly, even from growing up, you start those conversations like, oh, did you kiss her? Did you guys do anything? It's not a question of, did she allow you to do this? Did she allow you? It's just, did you do? Did you do? Did you do? You don't even ask questions of what did she feel like and no. And it starts from that. Then also it starts from you, even with your older peers. Like when you're younger, you hear a lot of stories from your older cousins, older brothers about babes. But sometimes you don't get that explanation about that even consent. It's more of just, this is how you get the girl, this is how you do this is how you put yourself in this situation. Yeah. But then the consent conversation never comes up until you now hear a case of, oh, this has happened. This has happened. Oh, we need to talk about consent. Nobody is talking about consent. Like, that's why it depends on you. Like me, I learned about consent early just because I was blessed enough that I grew up around women my whole life. I still have women around. So it's like, I always learned from early, and this is even still my foundational principle, like the woman has to be the most comfortable. That even me now, like they even make TikToks about it, like when you like a chilled freak in terms of you have to wait for her to make the first move. Yes. And then you'll be sitting there waiting and all that. It's like, we'll wait here together now. I don't mind. I feel like cuddle until once you say yes, I'm here for you, but it's like, stuff like that. So, but then not everybody's like that. Not everybody actually learns. So I think with consent, it is tricky because, like I said, it's very easy to point the finger, but then you need to just go back a little bit to understand, like, where does this stem from in terms of with men? Like, do they actually understand this consent thing? Are people actually teaching the younger generation what consent is before they get to that stage? Because, like you say, sometimes once you start kissing, everybody thinks that's consent.
And this is very interesting because, I mean, this consent thing is a very controversial topic. It's something that has caused major problems. Like, I mean, down to people losing brand identities, I think you literally hit the nail on the head because averagely, guys don't know better. Averagely, like this is me saying on an average, right? Of course, there are guys who know that, this is consent, this is what it means, this is where you draw the line and everything. But on average, I'll tell you what I believe the average Nigerian male or the Nigerian guy is raised to believe, right? And it takes a lot of self-discovery before you change from that narrative. But every guy is raised to believe that apply some pressure. In fact, it's a statement now. Apply pressure. Mm-hmm. Apply pressure means I'm saying no to you, but doesn't mean you should give up. Now, let me tell you how that's been counterproductive.
Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so I'll explain how that's been counterproductive in content, and I'll explain what it is. So, apply pressure is you're trying to, be persuasive to a woman to be attractive to you or attracted to you, right? or you're trying to, date someone, but you need to, according to what it means to apply pressure, it means every time I'm saying, no, I can't I can't let you take me out, you need to ask again. Right? That's what apply pressure would mean in that situation. So, okay, I'll ask you the first time. You're like, no, I'm not interested in going out with you.
Is that
I wait a few? Then
is that your definition? Or
no, so it's a general across board definition of what applying pressure is. So what I told you, it's a statement. It's like a phrase that is used now, and so that phrase usually means push harder.
Because what I was going to ask you now is, you know how you say push harder? I feel that is the African definition. Which
of course. I'm only going to speak on the Nigerian, African.
Oh, okay. Because for me, applying pressure, something from applying pressure is more of like there's a certain effort you're making that makes her understand that I'm serious about you in terms of applying pressure.
Right.
So it's like, for example, the same way they always say every girl gets that, oh, yeah, beautiful text and all that, compared to, okay, I've bought this. Do you want to go do this? I've paid for this. Applying pressure. So that's
I see.
That's
okay, so
I
see what you're saying now.
Because some people
right. Okay, so what you mean basically is that your version of apply pressure is you're doing the good, but you can do the better, sort of, right? So in like
you're making yourself stand out from the rest.
Yeah, you're doing the good. So you're in her good books already. You can do better by going an extra mile, just doing a little more.
So going the extra mile. That's really what I see most women as applying pressure.
No, so the context. So I'm saying, so that stage you're talking about is when she's kind of already even liked you a little bit. We're pushing it back to when she has no interest in you at all.
That's even where I'm starting from.
Okay.
Because, look at it now in Lagos. Okay, in Lagos, so where we are today, you say how you're putting in an African standard, right? Yep. In Lagos today now, most times, how do you move to a woman now? It's via social media, right?
Yes.
So from that social media now, she's already getting DMs, especially depending on the kind of babe she's already getting DMs in terms of, hey, beautiful, hey, this, hey, that. So the applied pressure, that I'm trying to understand now is that, okay, instead of just, hey, beautiful, all that, it's like, yo, like, I like depending on your game, because every guy is different. Like, yo, you can be like, yo, baby girl, look, I paid for this. I want us to go out to a movie, and then from there, I want us to go to the beach or something. Like, what's up with it? Instead of just, hey, beautiful. That's applying pressure, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Or
So
it's
like,
I've actually booked this thing for you just to introduce.
So what I meant was not before. I actually meant afterwards, right? So the stage I'm talking about is that because if we're talking consent, you've already gotten to the point where she already likes you.
So we're focused. So we're starting since it's about the consent.
Yes.
So she likes us now.
She's already exactly.
So we're on the same.
So that's what I was saying. That applying pressure in that situation is she likes me already.
Yeah.
But if she says no, I should know to apply pressure because she already likes me. I should know to push further. That's what I meant by apply pressure, right? So let's say I'll have to create a scenario so we all are on the same page. So let's say I invite her over to mine and she's okay with coming to mine. Now, being okay with coming to mine means that she's, evaluated me. I'm a decent guy. She would like to spend private company with me, right?
Yeah.
So she comes over to mine, we're chilling, maybe we're having chicken wings or we're eating whatever, popcorn. It could be anything, right? Now, the visit always gets it. I mean, like I said, you always know what general vibe you guys are on. Are we on the I like him emotionally or sexually or whatever it is, a vibe? Or is he just my guy? You guys know, you get. So, from how the mannerisms are during the dates, for lack of a better expression, you kind of know, first you start with sitting close to each other. Then next you know, maybe you guys are getting all cozy.
That one hand gets on the thigh. Now, when she allows you to touch that, when she allows you one hand on the thigh, that's when you start.
Or maybe she says, she wants to lay down and she's laying down on your lap. So that kind of thing. So it's like, those are the kind of things. Comfortability. So now here's where guys get to have a problem. So guys will say that's the green light. That's where they start to make the mistake.
I agree.
Because there's no green light there. Girls are funny people because sometimes they could like touchy feel depending on the person it is. To them, that's just another act. That's not them moving you a step forward.
It means nothing.
Exactly. So you see,
it means nothing.
but to guys, like I said, guys will say, that's green lights for me. Oh. Now, this is where I'm talking about applying pressure because she could actually be doing that as green light. It's a very, very tricky bridge to cross because
it's a guessing game.
She could actually be doing it because she's trying to send you a signal, right? However, me personally, I can only speak for myself on this one. Me, I'm blind to signals. I don't see. If you cannot use your mouth to say it or use your hand to actually, I don't see it. You're like, did you notice when I didn't notice? Did you see my leg? I did not see the leg. So And but the problem is that guys always see. In fact, guys are scouting for signals. And that's when they read the one that is not even signal. And they say, but I saw you doing. So now in this scenario where we're saying that, the girl's over at your place and, she's getting cozy. Now, I'm saying that you guys know why you're there, but the guy usually knows why. The guy maybe is hoping that even if it's first base, even if it's just kissing and maybe a little bit of makeout, he's hoping. Now, he's assuming she's also hoping because she's agreed to coming over to his. That's his first problem. Now, she's throwing signs, according to him. That's what he sees. He can see it as signs, see it as green lights. Then maybe they get into a more comfortable position. Then he tries to lean in for a kiss. Now, this goes two ways. Either it's an outright, no, what the hell are you doing? In which case, he still didn't ask for consent. Now, that's one side of it. And I'll get to how that side kind of trails down. Then there's a second side where it's like, she agrees to kissing, right? But then she stops. She just stops.
So wait, before you continue now, so what you just said now, because that's even, like you said, I feel that's the benchmark of where guys start to fall down that line.
Yes, that's what they do.
Because I know for me, I've been in that. In fact, that's why I said I like when women are more honest with me. I feel like, especially in Lagos, that's why I said a lot of people don't communicate properly.
Yes.
Yeah, she's agreed to come over to the house, but there's still not a level of comfortability between the two of you that certain conversations can be had. You are doing the guessing game.
Yes.
You get
because you guys are not quite there.
I don't mind getting to that level of comfortability that I'll leave if I ever try. Because let's not lie. More times than not, it's the guys that try. As much, even both of us that were talking here.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? Let me speak for myself. I can't speak for you.
Okay.
But it's probably me that has tried.
Yeah, okay.
But at the same time, before I even try, I know, what signals and looks. In fact, even saying what you're saying about signals, what signals they give me, it can be a guess.
Yes.
But at least I know I'm going to take my time before I do that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, we're saying that now, like, when it comes to that, because that's happened now, there's still a patient game you still have to play in terms of this means nothing. To me, it still means nothing. Like, to me now, at this age, kissing means nothing. We could have kissed, you're still my G. It's not until you, like you said, you as a woman, make that move or make that effort. Because some women will shock you. What I like about when you're comfortable with a woman is when she can really talk. Because, like, some women, you can be doing everything. Like, I had one girl, like, long time ago, but I had this one girl, like, we go into like real intimate sex, like we're kissing, I'm like picking her up and shit.
Yeah.
Everything you think is going to happen that day, this girl looked at me and said, by the way, ain't shit happening. I just looked at her like, shit, like, okay. And he's like, the only thing I can do is smile, like, all right, bet, we'll continue. But it's like, the day you let me, all right, no problem. You get what I'm saying? And it's mad. You would think with everything, bro, with everything going on, like clothes are going off and shit, you think it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Bro, some women that will just tell you no.
And that I think is where I said is a tricky bridge to cross, because one, people are lucky to have the morals to just know, okay, she said no, I'm doing no. But I would really like to tackle the ones who like to apply pressure. You see, because that apply pressure thing is where men get to miss that, right? So it now becomes a thing of, so men are raised to believe they are the chasers. And that's why I brought the apply pressure thing. So to him, it's like, if I push further, she would agree. Mm-hmm. If I just put in a bit more effort, she will change her answer from no to yes. That's the problem is trying to change the answer from no to yes. That's when you lose the concept of what consent is. So if I'm making moves to someone and they say, oh, no, I'm not interested, right? Or they act like, no, I'm not interested. In fact, I would say now that, guys, if you're looking for signals, look for the signals that say they are not interested, not the ones that say they are. To save yourself, because if you're looking out for the ones that say they are, you end up misreading. If you're looking out for the ones that say they are not, even though they are, you're better off. You're like, okay, sorry, the signal I got was you're not interested, so I don't want that. It's very important, and we'll explain on that. Yes.
Explain it more.
Yeah. So so just so I can divert again from the topic.
Yeah.
Or from the scenario I was painting. I'll give my own personal example. I've invited someone over before, and this is me. We will sex talk. We've, done all the everything. So it was time for us to just physically meet. Mm-hmm. We had already gone out. Time for us to meet intimately in like a space. We had already gone out to dinner. You know, we had done dirty talk. So we kind of know where we know what we're trying to do to each other. You know, that kind of thing, right? So, so one day she's the one who even suggests. Now, this is the thing. So if my own starts from like the very top. If you don't suggest to come to my house, I'm not going to ever suggest to you. Sorry, if you don't suggest to come to my house, I'm never going to suggest it to you to come to my house. I won't say, oh, why don't you come over to mine? Never.
Why?
Because the intent behind the suggestion is been misconstrued now already. Like, there's already a minus 10 points for me. It's weird. No, so it's weird, right? It's weird. Now, minus 10 points, she might not see it that way, right? But I'm talking more from the society's perspective. Generally, they see it as, even invited you to his house. Now, why? Hey, that one don't start. That's the stigma on that question, right? So when a guy is asking you to come over to mine, that's the first thing everyone's thinking. The person you're asking might be cool with it and does not think so, but that's the general, perspective behind the question. So I've already lost 10 marks if she's that kind of person. That'll be like, this one you're asking me to come to your house. I've already lost 10 points, right? Now, she would ask me, I would wait for her to ask me. So let's say she goes and like, okay, you know what? I was thinking maybe I should just come over just to chill. We can just order food. I'm like, okay, cool. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, guess okay, all right. Mm-hmm. But then I've only capped it as she just wants to come to mine. This is not me thinking she wants to come to mine, so she's agreed to the whole shindig. She comes to mine. Like I said, we've already been talking about what. So in fact, it's just for us to put the words into acts, right? Then she comes over, she changes to something comfortable, We're chilling, we watch a movie on Netflix, and we're sleeping in the same bed. Again, these are all things that were planned to happen because we've talked about it already and all that stuff, right? So it's not like we're new to the thoughts we have towards each other. However, you can be stark naked next to me, which was the case, but if you're not making the first move, and this is me, right? If you're not making the first move, I mean,
so what you
if
just
you're
said
not the
then,
one
I have a
actually
question.
taking me to the river and forcing me to drink, I'm sorry, it's never going to happen. For me,
you can't tell me.
Me,
I know we're talking about consent, but you cannot tell me because I want to make sure people don't go and put misconstrue.
I like that people who have experienced this would be able to.
No, I've been through it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've been through it. But what I'm saying is, as much as we say as guys, unless she makes the first move, we can't lie to ourselves and not say we don't obviously try and make that push. Yeah. Now, because in the end, no matter what happens, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. See, as much as even us as we're saying this thing, when we're behind closed doors, it's only us that know what we do. Because I've been, like you said, that situation, I agree. There has been times that you can be naked on the bed and you wait. But you're not going to act like she ain't going to be feeling something. So you get what I'm saying? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, she's going to be feeling something. So I think she's going to be moving something that you two, that you won't say subconsciously as a guy.
You should push a little, just make them,
all that subconsciously.
So I think the thing is, maybe I should be a little more specific on when I say making the first move, right? So I guess intimacy starts from a certain point, right? And there are some things that people can't call as sexual assault, so to say, right? Which is how we're coming to the topic of consent, right? Because if you're not consented to it, then it is sexual assault, right?
I agree.
Now, if we're on the same bed and maybe all I'm doing is trying to cuddle. Now, sometimes cuddle can lead to something. Sometimes it'll just end as cuddle.
It'll just be
now,
cuddle.
If someone doesn't want you cuddling them and they take your hands off, that is a no, I have not consented.
Yes.
If someone does not take your hand off and maybe they even hold your hand, kind of adjust the cuddle a little bit. So, again, I could be wrong. Maybe our viewers will let us know. But from the knowledge I have, that is a yes to consent. I'm okay with you cuddling me. We can go ahead, right? Now, go ahead means go ahead to continue cuddling. How that pans out from that point
is only you and the person.
Because the truth is, yes, you make the moves, but in my own personal, I would say my own story only, that cuddle is where I draw the line. Like, the person has to say, or the person has to be the one to maybe flip over to the other side and maybe be the one to, push the first kiss. But
fair enough.
I'm not going to, roll the person over and say, so I'm not going to do any of that. However, this is where guys always miss it because they feel like that is now like the yes for the overall, right? And that ends up getting some guys into a lot of trouble, right? Where it's like, I already allowed her. She already allowed me cuddle. I was already holding her. We're both naked. That
Alpha.
means that I should be able to go further, right? However, like, because I guess women feel like they're on the receiving end of the, experience, they should be able to call the shots. Now, not saying that men also cannot give consent, but again, in our demographic, we're addressing more the general situation, which is men going or, pushing further for, these experiences. And so, if after calling and she doesn't want none of that, I'll say this, this is me advising my fellow guys, please just agree and say no. There's no need to push. You're not pushing for anything. If she wants it, you would know. If she doesn't want it, and
so with what you said now, like, that's what I was gonna say. Like, there's two sides to it, because there are women who want a man to take control, like you say.
Yes, of
like
course.
in that
That's what I was talking
situation.
about, the push,
So
yeah.
that I said, even this whole science things, it's still very debatable, because we really don't know what the signs are unless you know the woman you're with. Because it's like how you said, like when you're cuddling and all that, there's some times that I've been there, we go cuddle morning to night.
Morning to night, bro.
But then there's sometimes it's like, yo, okay, I don't know, this girl wants me to take the lead, and it's like, yo, I'm gonna just like, you play a little game, like sometimes I'm gonna take you, like, I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up? Like, what's up with it? Like, even ask you, like, yo, what's up with it and all that, like, say, even ask to make sure you're okay and comfortable. And even she too, you'll see there's a look like, yo, this boy actually is taking control. Like, in the end, women like a man. So it's not like sometimes you do not take the lead. However, it's still
topic for another day, by the way. What do you mean by what's a man? But again, that's topic for another day. Yeah.
But it's like, even with that being said, being a man, you are still taking a risk, because you think she'll say you're being a man when really she might not mean that. But like I said, you know the woman you're with. That's why I said, like, for me, the best way is just communication and all. But I have a question for you. I have a question.
Yeah.
With this consent thing, there's one topic we didn't bring up, which is alcohol. Drugs. When alcohol and drugs
external influences.
When influences are played into a factor, because that's usually the time that most people get in trouble, even, where you're under the influence, where sometimes there's a bit of confidence it gives both parties. It's not just the woman, not just the man. There's an extra confidence it gives you, and sometimes it even reveals a bit about you. Yeah. And I know that's the time a lot of guys get in trouble. Like, I know I've been in situations where, we've gone out, like when I was younger, like especially in college, like, I tell people it was a funny time in college, because that's the time you're drunk the most in uni. Yeah. And then obviously, like, you can do things in the club and all that. When you get home, you could have been lit. Something could have happened. In the morning, you are hoping you both remember and all. And I remember, like, there was an incident in uni I had in my first year where this girl and I, like, we went out, we got lit as hell and all that. Had a thing, everything was good. And then I remember, like, at first, she was just like, she looked at me like, what's your name again and all that? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was scared, because I was like, Jesus.
At that point,
but then she's anything. Like, but I know who you are and all that, obviously. She's even gave me the description of everything I do. So in my head, I was like, thank God. But then in my head, I was just like, that was a very scary moment. Like, if something else happened. Then fast forward in my final year, I remember there was a girl, like, I've actually not shared the story publicly, but I remember, like, this one time, this, like, girl had a big-ass crush on me, like, she even used to stalk me at one point, like in uni. Fair enough. So at one point, she came home drunk to mine. But she's beautiful, like, beautiful girl. So she came to mine, like, one night drunk, like, banging on my door and shit. Like, my housemates be like, yo, who the hell is banging on our door and shit? I come downstairs, like, who that? See her, and then he's like, I just want to talk to Michael and all that. I'm like, yo, you lit. Like, you need to go home. She's like, no. And when you start crying and all that, it's like, oh, Father Lord. Like, okay, yeah, come upstairs. So we go upstairs and talk and all that. So we were trying to talk and all that. And me, maybe at that time I was high. Sorry, Mom. At that time I was high.
Oh, shit.
I smoked a little something with my boys in the house. So I'm lit too. You get what I'm saying? So we having a conversation upstairs. And even upstairs, I'm just like, what's wrong with you? That's like, oh, I actually liked you. I had a crush on you. Like, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm like, yo, but nothing. There's no issue and all that. You just said that you wanted this, and I don't want this right now. Yeah. After talking for a while, she's like, can I stay over and all that? And even me at that time, I'm like, lit, like, fine. She stays over. We have a thing, obviously, later on in the night. I won't lie. Everything's good. We're cuddling at one point after everything. This girl wakes up after an hour. Wake up like, wait, I'm not supposed to be here. Yeah? I'm like, what? Then she just starts panicking. I have to go. Starts with her, go, hey, yo, what's up? I have to go. Runs out my door, right? So she's running down the stairs, running out the door. I'm like,
yo, it couldn't be much worse than that.
Yo, I start running in my boxes even. Like, she said, like, yo, what's up? It's like, I have to go. And then she's trying to run down the street. So eventually I catch her. Obviously I'm faster than her. I'm like, yo, calm down. She starts crying. Like, oh, I didn't mean to come tonight. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, look, can you at least talk to me and say what's up? So eventually we come back into the house. We sit down and talk. And she just says, like, look, she was nervous and all that. Obviously she had drank and all that. So, but she likes me. I'm like, yo, there's no issue. Like, I don't judge you. I don't look at you differently. Like, you could have just talked to me.
Yeah.
And eventually we talk. Eventually I had to now go and get my clothes. I walk her back to her accommodation and come home. And in my head, by the time I get home, I'm just thinking about my life. Like, you know, you're just like, how did I? And that's what alcohol can do to you. You get what I'm saying? So imagine now, you were saying something about the African perspective. That's there.
Yeah.
And I imagine here, where it's more of the cool club environments, we're also in an environment you don't talk like that. Like, how do you know where the consent? How do you know where the consent line is drawn in Nigeria, where drugs and alcohol plays a part? Like,
because really, like, knowing where the line is drawn takes a lot of consciousness. Like, you actually need to really know that that's okay. I shouldn't go beyond this. So imagine when you're under the influence. It could be alcohol, it could be whatever it is, and at that point, you're not fully conscious. And because you're not fully conscious, you don't even see a line. All you just see is, in fact, to you at that point,
you just
it's
see
like,
the babe there, like,
and she's not saying, I can't see her pushing me away. So we're good, you know. So I think more than anything, we need to really help guys out there understand where to draw the line. Again, only based on our personal perspectives, right? Where to draw the line, and know how to handle those situations where. Because I would say that women do have to take some responsibility for this. Like, again, it's not just the guy that's misreading things.
When you say women should take responsibility, you need to explain how and in what way. Because again, we can't fully blame them.
Yeah, that's what I said. Take some responsibility. So that's what
so in what ways would you say?
So by taking some responsibility, what I mean is, so first of all, there's a general thing of guys being pigs sometimes, where you see they will call a signal a woman wearing a short dress. They would say that was her calling.
That's not a signal.
Thank you very much. Right.
That's not a signal.
So for me, we're not talking about that. That's all that is being oblivious to it, right? So we're going to be talking on the actual missed signals, right? Okay. So again, even laying on the bed naked with me is not a signal, right? However, if you lean to me and you kiss me, you actually kiss me and everything, and then I'm trying to make the next moves. Maybe I'm trying to like hold on to the rest of your body or something, and then you take my hand off, and you're trying to say that I assaulted you. So again, I feel like you can't tell me then that I was misreading. You've literally kissed me.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's a gray area, and it's something. That's what I said. So the essence is we have to be telling guys how to be careful with this, right? So, it's a gray area. But like I said, for me, what works for me always is the minute you're even feeling an off vibe. That is, you feel like the person might not be for this. It could even be the style. It could even be the way she moved her leg. The way she moved her leg is just funny. Yeah, let it be that. Let it be that. Okay, you know what? You moved your leg funny. I just feel like you don't want.
I want to ask you a question.
So so I think for me that's how it works. I think guys who try that will definitely stay out of trouble, because that line, knowing where to draw the line, is always very difficult.
So let me ask you a question now, and this is also a question to people.
Yeah,
is that do men actually ask questions in terms of to their woman or to the woman? Do you actually ask that question? Because I had to sit down and ask myself, like, I never asked. Like, it's more of natural before, but then I got older. Like, that's it. There's even a confidence in me that got built up. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still get shy around like the right woman. You get what I'm saying? And that's even why I like more. If I get shy around you, that's even a great sign. Because I'm not saying that if I'm not shy, I'm not attracted to you. But it's like, I think you understand what I mean. It's a man thing.
You're making me have to cross this barrier, and I'm okay.
So it's like with that now. Sometimes do we not ask questions like even little subliminal questions? Like one thing I notice I do sometimes, like, is like I'll just be asking like randomly every family, like, yo, you good? Are you okay?
See that?
You alright?
See that?
Like even that little question is already asking like 5 questions, like, yo, you good?
Are you okay?
We look at each other eye to eye, like, yo, you good? I'm okay. Boom, I can continue. After a while, like, you alright? Go ahead. I'm good. Okay, you've answered the questions to me. That I say, that's to me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she's answered those little questions. Now that's like, okay, I can continue. Because if I don't ask those questions now, I hate that guessing game. Like when I was younger, it used to eat me in my head like,
Yeah.
oh, overthink,
Should
overthink,
he?
and then
Should
that's
I?
why
Should I not?
and then what women don't realize is it messes up your performance because now you're overthinking. And so if something does happen running, is it really that she's actually wanting it? Is it because I can't lie. There's one situation when I was in college that it was very, very awkward. I'll never forget this. The girl she's actually such a chilled girl, but she was, as I said, you really have to understand what. So anyways, this girl was making a move on me and all that, right? Like she was moving to me for time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually one day she invites me over to her house. Now, I was being a bit back because she was also trying to talk to, like, some of my boys I knew that I knew. And me, I'm like, once you talk to my boys, it's not an issue. Circle. I'm not like, but it's like, I mean, I don't like Wahala. There's too many girls around the world, you get.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're trying to talk to us at the same time. You don't realize we're boys. I ain't going to bother you. But at the same time, okay, you bothering me more now. We know we talk. We're cool.
Yeah.
You invite me over. Bet. Invite me over. Things happen, obviously. We start kissing, all that stuff. And even that, she was being a bit funny and weird. So even like when she was, I'm like, yo, it's cool. I even thought that it's cool. Yeah. Then she'll come back, grab my face. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm confused.
And that's what
so
I'm talking
fast
about.
forward now, it comes time to do the shit. It's the most awkward shit I've ever experienced in my life. We're about to start doing it, right? And then she's like really like holding me, even pulls this, everything out starts. And then at one point when we start, she's like, I wonder if we should really be doing this, you know?
Ooh, damn.
So,
yeah, you don't recover from that.
I'm in that. So imagine, you're in that position. She's the one that's been holding me, pushing me. And I'm just like, you ask me, I wonder, and she's like, I wonder if we should really be doing this. Bro, you don't understand the fear that does gripped my body. So at one point, I come off like, oh. Like, and she's like, why'd you stop?
So again,
do you see where
women? I think he's just buttressed my point, right? So again, we're not saying that all of your everything you do is signals, right? But you can definitely tell that there's some things that you know might be misread, right? So I think we're not asking for too much. Help us. Like, just help us understand that it's a no, I don't want this. Yes, I want this. Don't leave us to guess. So that way, right out there, everybody's okay. There's no need to, have to guess that, oh, she might want this.
But the funny thing is, from that experience, like, even when she said that now, that's what helps me understand more in terms of communication, because from when she already started moving like that, and like I said, in that moment, that's my first time going through that kind of experience. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I'm going to be guessing. But obviously, after a while, like, I remember, like the second, third time she said that shit, like, I literally had to stop and be like, yo, what do you really want to do? Then eventually, after a while, she's just like, okay, yeah, I want to. And okay, we did. But in the end, no matter what, it's already awkward to me for life. So from now, every person now that I'm with now, for example, now is like,
you want to communicate that.
Exactly. It's like now I have to actually start communicating that, because again, we've heard so many stories, even of guys. I know for me, I've heard of guys I know. You see it on the news of, okay, you thought it was consensual. Next thing you know, she doesn't remember. And a lot of times, especially in this culture we're in, this environment we're in, they'll say, what do you mean the girl didn't know?
It's not possible.
But we don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, true, and I agree. I mean, it's a really great area, and I guess we all learn every day. So again, we can only share the experiences we've had and how people can then learn from this. And
if you were to summarize something, right? Let me ask you a question. If you were to summarize for viewers that are even younger than us, so you're not even say younger than us, because there are men that are virgins even at this age. Like,
or even
I feel like people need to. There's no age limit of when you're a virgin. Like, if you want to keep it until you're 30, 40, 50, that is your personal choice. Like, nobody should really pressure you. But what would you say, if we go back and forth now, like one by one, what are some of the things you should do as a man, or what are some things you should look out for when you're about to be intimate with a woman that makes you know it's consensual?
Okay. All right. So, I mean, it's a really good question. And I think one of the answers is, so for one, the first question that came in earlier on in the episode was about inviting a woman over on the first date. So first of all, do not do that. Just don't. Like, take it out of your list of things that you think are okay. No matter how cool you guys are, my own personal advice is see yourselves in public first. right? Be sure you guys are actually on the same vibe. Then you know, okay, I've seen her physically, we've met, and you know, she's like this, she's like that. Before you can then possibly think about inviting her over, right? So, but for me, like I said, first dates don't make your first date in
Can
the
I ask you a
house.
question to your point
In
now?
Lagos,
Can I ask you a
Nigeria.
que-
Yes.
Now, what about if the first date you
Yeah.
both consensually know what you're trying to do?
So if it's gonna be a first date,
Not date per se, because
Well, yeah.
let's be
First physical
I feel like
encounter.
sometimes, even with us saying this as men,
Yeah.
women are like men too. Let's not get as much as sometimes we see some people like, yo, like this woman gives me the opportunity. It's the same way women will think like, this guy is just
Agreed,
like I
yes.
see him as I want to smash too. So
Yeah.
what about if that first time link is you both know what
so
it
again,
is?
again, for me as a person, first time link would only work in my house if it's suggested by her. If she's the one who says, actually, you know what, there's no need for us to go out. I want like chill vibes, and I think if you're okay with me coming by yours, I think we should do that. To me, that's the only way to work. Like I wouldn't be the one to say, even though we're cool to the coolest points in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a me thing. I just wouldn't say come over to mine.
Fair.
However, if she suggests that, okay, you know what, being at mine would be a cool vibe, she thinks she wants that, then okay, cool, right? So this is me again. No cajoling. It's leaving it to her to make the decision so that she's as comfortable as possible, right, and stuff. Now, another thing to also be careful of is, like we just said, missed signals, right? So, like I mentioned earlier on, as a guy, again, this is my own personal advice. If you are trying to read signals, read for the negative signal. Read for the signals that tell you no. Read for the signals that are telling you, do not do that. She is not interested.
Okay,
She does not want it. Yeah. So
that.
that way you're on the safer side no matter what. Like the worst case is, oh, I really wanted that. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't think so. You acted like...
So it's more of knowing you have to understand what her limits are.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, like you said, you'll keep crossing that limit. But she's going to give you signs like, okay, this is my limit for this.
Exactly.
This is because you just give me, wow, you just brought up another example. Like, you know how you say like sometimes a woman will give you all the signals in the world, right?
Yeah.
A woman has given me all the signals in the world, right? We're about to get to that base. And I'm not even forcing it or nothing. Like, it is the most natural. In fact, she's even making the moves herself. Mm-hmm. And before anything, nothing that we're about to rush or anything, we're just casually, and she just looked like, she stops at one point. She's like, by the way, I have to tell you something. I'm like, what's up? I'm a virgin.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's like, hold on. Everything in my head, I'm like, everything that's been going on, the way you're initiating it, you would think
seemed like you were trying to get to that
exactly.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you drop that bomb. That is actually a very scary thing that a lot of guys don't realize. You can get yourself, because again, green flags have been going.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden,
yeah,
bam.
so, yeah.
What do you do? Like,
Exactly. So I think, like I said, don't look out for green flags. Just always make sure everything
The red
has a red
flags
flag
are-
behind. Like, yeah, just look out for them. And then
because
once
now
you
that
kind
you
of spot
see
it,
it now, there were red flags that were showing.
Exactly.
But the thing is, you also have to be very mentally conscious and strong as a man that those red flags, you actually pay attention to them.
Exactly. So,
Especially in that moment. Let's not lie. All of us have been there. So we're
we're looking for green flags. We want
we
green
ignore
flags
everything.
instead.
Let's not lie to
Exactly.
ourselves.
Yeah,
So that's actually a very good piece of advice.
So I think we can wrap this up here today. Like, it's been a really interesting topic, though. However,
I have one more piece of advice.
Go ahead.
I would say, for a lot of guys in Lagos, stop linking or stop doing things under the influence. What I mean by that is,
it takes a lot of self-discipline, though. But
it takes a lot. So I'm not saying you can't. Like, nobody's saying you can't drink, can't that. But if you're able to get with a woman, right, or make her comfortable not to be with you, like both of you can do your thing sober, it opens the door for everything else. And it also eliminates that thought of, oh, was it because it was this? Was it because it was that? You get what I'm saying? Like, obviously, there's been cases where, you have a woman over and you chill the whole day, and then maybe later on you have some wine. That's different. But it's like those ones like you meet each other drunk, and then it happens there.
Yeah.
You're already putting yourself in a bad position.
Because no one remembers anything.
Nobody, already you're both under the influence. As I said, it takes one person changing the story now that makes everything say,
I should really
I
slow
thought
it
it was
down.
consensual and all that. So try and actually get to know each other sober, even have the thing sober. So there's a peace of mind that is both a both conscious decision that we decided to do this. Not that one person will now say, I do remember.
Yeah. True. Well, anyways, that's it today on today's topic,
Yes,
content, right? So again, don't forget to subscribe, to follow, to like, to comment on our YouTube, comment on our Instagram. Again, we're Instagram, Menisms Pod, or you can send us emails if you have any questions.
And when you repost the videos, please tag us in them. We see a lot of people repost, and we appreciate you. But just give us a tag so we can actually see who you are. And then at the same time, we do reply all the comments and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's I'm Michael Scenario. This is another episode of Menisms.
And I'm Murray Welcome, Koya. So we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Till next time, guys.